Go.
All right. Here we are, Miss Halstead. Here we are, Kylie. We are looking at part 2. Now, the key to this, honestly, is not to skip anything. Even if it sounds crazy, do your best. Do something. Don't ever leave any of these blank, because you can get points where you don't even realize when you kind of know stuff. All right? So this first one is a little weird. It says, on the set of axes below, graph, and it has an f of x, so you know we're going to go to the calculator and use our y equals to figure out how to draw this graph. But then it's got these funky lines right there, and if you remember, that means absolute value. So I'm going to show you where to find that on the calculator. So if I go to the calculator, I'm going to go to y equals, whoops, first I'm going to turn it on, then I'm going to go to y equals, which that's not a surprise. But now I'm going to find, how do I make this absolute value? I'm going to write a little note here. Under the math menu, okay, so I'm going to go to math right here. And then I see I have some choices across the top. I want to go NUM for number. So I'll put a little cloud around that because you slide over to that, okay? And you see this first choice is ABS with the parentheses. That stands for absolute value. Same thing as this. So I'm going to press enter. So now I have y equals ABS parentheses. So in the parentheses, I'm going to put what I have here. So I'm going to put the variable minus 3 end parentheses. So that's what I have. And then I'm going to put plus 2, because that's what I have here, plus 2. And I'm going to press enter. I'm going to press graph. All right, so I know I want my graph to look like that. But how do I take the graph from there and do it correctly on here so I get credit? Okay, not surprising again, second table. All right, this is obviously 0. And if I look at these numbers, right, it's a 1-to-1 kind of deal. So it's 1, 2, so I can put 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. And I know that these are 1, 2, 3, 4. This is -1, -2, -1, -2, and so forth. Okay? Also, be sure you use a pencil when you graph, so if you make a mistake, you're able to erase it. Graphing is allowed in pencil, but your work has to be in pen. All right, so I'm going to go up here, and let's see, my first point that I've got showing is the point 2, 3. See it? 2, 3. So I can even write my table over here. I can write x, y, just like the graph here. But notice my x goes all the way to the negatives. So I'm going to go pushing my up arrow. I'm going to get some negative numbers going on over here. And I look at, there's no way this goes over 10. So I'm going to stop here. So -5 is going to be, I'm going to pick up -5. Which looks like it goes to 10. Then I'm going to pick up -4, which if I look closely, goes to 9. Then I'm going to pick up -3. So you can see I'm just copying these values over on my chart so I have them. Yeah, and it looks like this pattern just continues here. So I have 7, 6, and 5. Okay, and if I keep going down, at some point I'm going to have to be careful. Oh, look, it goes 1, let's see, 0 to 5, yep, 1 to 4, 2 goes to 3, and then 3 goes to 2, but 4 goes back to 3. See that? So you got to be careful. And then when I go down, 5 is going to go to 4, and then it will go from there. You don't have to have all of these points, but that makes it safer. And if I look at this is where, right in here is where I have to be careful. So this is obviously, a place where it makes a corner. So let's look at what that looks like. That's that corner that we saw in the graph itself. All right, so let me put that in there so you can see my whole list. There we go. Okay, so now let's graph this. So if I go to -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's -5. I'm going to go see if I can get to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right at the top. So no, there's a point. -5, 10. Then -4, 9. And I keep coming down. So I'm checking 0, 5. That makes sense. This is where x is 0, where y is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I go down. 1 is 4. 2 is 3. 3 is 2. And then I bounce back again. See that? So I'm going to go up here, 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 here. I'm just going to make all those dots. That'll be easier for me, because then when I'm actually taking the exam, I'm going to get my ruler, because you'll be given a ruler. I don't have one with me at the second, so I'm going to fold some paper here to make a nice straight edge, but it's better to use a ruler. But this will help your straight edge, right? Because that's ultimately what you want your graph to look like. And that'll give you a full 2 points. Okay, and every point that we can have in case we made a mistake is bonus. All right. Yeah, we can do a couple more here on part 2 in this video. You can always pause and go back when you need. All right, determine all the zeros. I want to know every number that makes this equal to 0. Now, unfortunately, we're supposed to figure it out algebraically. Boo hiss, right? However, even though it says algebraically, you're going to get credit if you can figure out the zeros, even if you do it a different way. The algebra part, interestingly enough, you're going to get this reference sheet at the back of every Regents exam, and you have it in the one I gave you. This is the key that will always work algebraically. This is where we have this A, B, and C business. You may or may not remember it, but it is tied to if we have ax squared plus bx plus c. There's my x squared, there's my x. So keep in mind that these are the numbers in front of x squared, in front of x, and the one on its own at the end, or the constant, okay? So if I want to use that formula and be all algebraic on this question, I'm going to look at this and go, all right, there's x squared. I want to know what's in front of x squared, what's in front of x, and what's on its own, because there's my A, B, and C. All right? So when I look at that, though, I see, doesn't look like there's anything in front of x squared. That means I have one of them, okay? So if I have one of those, then A is equal to 1, B is equal to -4, the whole thing, and C is equal to 3. So if I go back to this formula that's on your sheet, I can put those numbers where I see A, B, and C. So I would have negative B, so I put -4, okay? Plus or minus, that means two answers, one by adding, one by subtracting. Then I would have the square root of -4 squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a, which remember was 1. And we can get those two zeros algebraically this way, okay? Oh, whoops, I didn't put numbers for A and C. What should I put for A? I should put 1 in place of A. What should I put for C? I should put 3 in place of C. So I apologize for that. Hopefully you caught me out on that one. All right, so now when we're looking at this, we can put this in the calculator, okay? But we can also just figure out what this is real quick. Negative means 4 plus or minus If I square 4, 4 times 4 is 16. The negative will go away when you square it. And then I'm going to subtract from that 16, 4 times 1 times 3. So 4 times 3, which is 12, all over 2. And you can work that out for sure. But now, let me show you a quick thing here. Not surprisingly, I'm going to go turn mine on, go to y equals. I'm going to clear that out, even though it said algebraically. I've done enough work here to show algebra. Now I can go to my calculator and I can put in just exactly like it has here. X squared minus 4x plus 3, okay? I can hit graph. Look at that. I know that's where the zeros are, okay? I go to second table. I'm looking for where is the value 0. So I'm looking at the value. It's 0 here. That is when x is 1. So I'm going to put down x is 1, comma. I'm going to go here, look again. Here's another 0 when x is 3. Those are the two zeros or the two solutions. This is enough work to get credit for that, even though we really used our table. All right, that's it till the next video.